Yeah, hey everyone. Got a lot of requests to build this custom fishing rod wrapping station. So we got some wood, we got some nails, some glue. Let's build this thing. All right, so the first thing we have to do, we got our red oak here. We're gonna make it out of red oak. You need to check the width of the boards. So this is called S4S lumber. It's from Home Depot. I just grabbed some real quick. The vendor wasn't open today that we usually use, but there's a difference in size. So first thing we need to do is clean that up and get equal sizes. All right, the second thing we want to do is we want to get this to length. So I'm going to make the stand 42 inches long. That's just kind of what I chose. So I'll take a little T-square here, make a little pencil line like this. Then I'm going to show you a trick right now. Okay, so the trick is when you cut down into wood cross grain, especially hardwood, the blade can actually pull the material up and splinter it. When the blade pushes through the other side, it's pushing the material out, so you rarely ever get breakout. So what you can do is take your utility blade here, and you're just gonna score it like this. So when you cut it, you're gonna reduce the breakout by 90%, okay? All right, let's take it over here and cut it on the saw. Okay, so now what we need to do is I'm going to put a quick lock track down the center of this, 24 inches approximately. So I'll probably go a little bit further, maybe like 24 1/4, because of the round over on the bit, and give myself plenty of leeway here. Okay, now we need to find the center of this. So let's see, we're 5 3/8, so that's going to be 2 11/16 to the center, which is right there. Okay, now, so the track is 3/4 inches wide. I do not have a 3/4 bit. So what we need to do is go 3/8 on this side, plus a little, so we want a little wiggle room to get the track in, and plus 3/8 on this side, plus a hair. So we don't want that track getting jammed up. We want it going in pretty easy. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do 2 passes with this oak, and I'm gonna have to go very slow because oak is really hard, and if you push the material too hard, you risk snapping the blade or damaging your wood. The other trick is, so I made a mark here at 24 1/4. That track is 24 inches long. I went off the spec. I don't have it with me. So, but I want to give myself a little room down here so I'm not hanging off the end. So a trick is when you're pushing this through, how do you know when to stop? Well, I'm going to make a little pencil line right here. If you can see this little pencil mark right here. So I know to stop right at the end of the table there. Okay? Little trick for you. All right, let's run this. Okay, we're done running it. Let's turn it over and see what we got. Okay, that is beautiful. Look how beautiful. Now we have to adjust it and make it wider because the track is 3/4. Okay, so let's go ahead and make the adjustment. Okay, beautiful. We've got a beautiful dado now. Yep, and it's about a 64th over, so that's fine by me, because we don't want to jam the track in there and ruin the material. This is where we're going to slide the track in, the quick track. Okay, now we're just going to take this sharp chisel and get this little tip off here. What was left from the router. Hey, if you have a little check end on the wood like this, I'll show you a quick tip to fix this. Okay, so you're going to take some wood glue and some wood filler. Okay, you're going to mix this together, kind of make like a paste. The wood filler on its own doesn't really have the molecular properties to fill a check like that. It's good for nail holes, but I like to add a little glue in here to make this real sticky paste like this, see? And you're going to really push it down in here like this. You're going to force it down into that crack. You're going to force it into the end like that. And we're going to turn it over here and do the same thing on the other side. Just really push it down in there. So again, you don't want to just use wood filler alone on this. You want to mix it with glue like 50-50. Okay, let's go on to the next step. Okay, so now the next step. So I've made the dado for the quick track that's going to go in here, and now we have to create the front riser and then the adjustable back riser. Okay, so we're going to make those pieces now. All right, I think I'm going to make my risers 8 inches tall. So let's go ahead and mark that. Put the square on here, little pencil line. Let's score it for good measure, and then we're going to cut on the right side of that score. Now the second one's going to need a base, right? That comes off the bottom, because I'm going to put a T-track and a clamp so this can be adjustable. Okay, now that we have the layout, this is basically what it's going to look like. Now I have to create the rear cavity for the rod and the front cavity for the rod right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that now, and then we'll join the pieces together. Okay, I got my cross lines. Now I'm just getting my centers. Okay, now I just have to figure my offset. So I have two different sizes. Okay, I have an 1 1/8 and a 2 1/8. So let's figure that out right now. All right, now for these cuts, there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can go jigsaw, bandsaw. I just like to use my circular saw here. It gives a nice straight cut. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, I'll just clean that up, and we're good to go. Let's do the other one. Okay, that's number 2. Now let's do the returns. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. We're gonna clean that up. Get on to the next step here. So it's a good idea now to start sanding these pieces, because when they're on or together, it's gonna be way harder. So might as well get them all cleaned up and beautiful now. So now we just want to soften the edges. We don't want to do an eased edge. An eased edge is with a router. Just cleaning up the blade area a little bit here. Okay, now we're going to join these two pieces together. Now, sometimes you can't get a clamp back here, or there's no room. Another way to do it is if you have a wood surface, there's a nailer called a micro nailer. You can just remove this piece, tack this down. And these are like little needles, you can't even see them, and then that way it stays in place. So when we start, I start drilling in a few minutes. I'm going to pre-drill these holes and glue it, and I'm going to show you. Okay? Okay, I'm getting some glue on here. Another trick is you need to glue both sides, especially the end grain. The end grain is going to soak up this glue. So you got to do a few passes, okay? Just like that. Okay, and you're going to put these together like this. You're going to make sure it's lined up. Now the other trick is you're going to take your pin nailer and that's to pin it in place while you drill your holes, okay? Okay, we're going to use, now the screw we're going to use is a 1 5/8" trim screw. See how small this is? You don't want to use a drywall screw or a framing screw or anything. You want to use a smaller screw like this. And what I like to do is get a drill bit the size of its head, and I just like to put a little and keep the drill bit in reverse. If you don't, you can crack the wood. And this is just to help the screw seat a little bit better. Now you can put it in forward and just go really slow. I'm going to take a little material out there, very slow. See that, how I'm doing that? Really slow, and then go back in reverse. Okay, now we're going to put the trim screws in there, nice and slow. Look at that, strong as can be. It's gotta go real slow, really slow. Okay, look at that. See that? Okay, so the front one's a little bit different. We can clamp this one to the bench. And again, you want to infuse all this glue into the end grain, okay? A lot of people make mistakes when they do this. You got to really make sure it gets in there. And oak doesn't suck it up as much, but softer woods do, but you definitely want to be generous on the glue. And the thing is, you want to spread it too, because if you don't, your piece will move around on you quite a bit. This helps it tack up a little bit. Okay, same thing. We're going to get the okay. I like to do this one a little bit different. I like to get a screw in there because this other side isn't tacked down, so we want to keep it in place. Okay. All right, look at that. Okay, we got the front piece mounted. That's where the front of the rod will go. It's beautiful, super strong, just beautiful, beautiful. So now we're going to drill this hole. This hole is for the bolt that goes through down to the track, and then you put a knob on it, and I can lock this down into position. It is looking spectacular, if I do say so myself. It's all sanded, ready to go. Now we're going to throw some stain on it. Okay? And then when the track comes in, we'll put the track and the nut on there. Okay, we have the stain out. This is one of those 2-in-1 combos. For this little project, it's fine. It's got the stain and it's got the clear in it. It's a satin. So basically, I never use a brush to put my stain on. I don't want any little brush hairs or brush marks in there. So in my experience, the best way is we're going to dip a little rag in here like this, like so. Okay, and we're just going to start wiping it on. This is Mission Oak. It's going to definitely take into the end pieces a lot more here. Okay, don't get too crazy, just little pieces at a time here. You have a lot more control with a rag, in my opinion, than a brush. Just my opinion. All right, staining's coming along here. I should be wearing gloves, honestly, but oh well. Hey, so that's a wrap. This was sure fun to build. Made it out of red oak. Put a nice Mission Oak stain on it. This is completely adjustable, so it'll slide. So I'm going to primarily use mine to clean my rods, service my rods, wrap them with the paracord. You can certainly put your thread station, attach it to here as an attachment if you want. If you want to use this for real rod wrapping, it'd be awesome. And then you can also clamp it down to the table if you want even more strength, or you can lift this up, put some drawer material down, some drawer liner, anti-stick, and prevent it from moving around. So I'm excited. Let me grab this rod real quick. Look at that. Oh man, like butter. This thing is beefy. So hey, make your own. You know, why buy one when you can make one exactly how you want it? So I had fun building this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.